Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janelle. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I am starting a reading vlog. I'm not sure how long it's going to go on for. It very well may end tonight, and it already is tonight, so we will see. But I am going to be reading Moon of the Crusted Snow by Waubgeshig Rice. I started this last night. I'm 40 odd pages in, and I just immediately felt like it was something I wanted to get for like memories purposes on video. So I'm going to read the book, and then at the end of the video I will do a review on it. So far it is just, it's beautiful. The writing is gorgeous, and I have been so excited for this book. It has been like screaming at me from the shelves. It has been calling my attention every day. There is a sequel, Moon of the Turning Leaves, which I do have. And I just, ever since I heard about this book, I've had this like incredible feeling about it. And whenever I look up books that are like Station 11, not in plot necessarily, but in vibes, for lack of a better term, to give the same feelings, this one always comes up. This is one of the ones that consistently on all the lists I'm finding come up. And I want that feeling again. As well, like I said, I'm 40 odd pages in. I've already tabbed 3 times. I picked out specifically, like, out of like my tabs, a color palette I felt like suited the book quite well, which was exciting. So I'm currently at least tabbing for areas that are just beautiful writing, and then areas that I find it very profound, what's been said, very impactful. So I've got those kind of 2 themes that I'm paying attention to. Well, paying attention to all of it, but catching and tabbing those. It is gorgeous, and within just a short amount, and I mean, it's a short book. I think it's just over 200 pages, which is why I'm like, can I read it all tonight? Potentially not. It's already a little bit late. I would probably most likely at least finish it tomorrow, I would say. Short doesn't always mean a fast read though, and that's something I need to keep in mind. Like, it depends how the pacing and everything is, but I didn't feel those 30, 40, the pages that I read yesterday, I didn't feel them go by, and I was there. And it's been a while since I've read a book where I wasn't in my current surroundings, that I was there. And I think it's an incredible thing when a writer can do that and you're in the book. I think that's amazing. I figured, why not bring you along on my reading journey? I have candles lit, which is why you're hearing that crackling. I have a cup of tea made, so I'm going to go read at my desk. And I will come back to you when I have some new thoughts. So, let's go. Okay, so I've just gotten to page 7, well, just read page 70, and it's getting intense quick, which makes sense because, you know, short. But I was also right in the sense where a short book doesn't mean fast, because it's like the kind of thing that I'm like, I need to pause to like catch my breath here. I'm holding it. Oh, jeez. I am like there. Wabgasheg is just so casually, intentionally, but casually, because it is just simply fact, mentioning these horrors that previous generations have gone through. So he's not mentioning it casually in a way where it doesn't matter. That's not at all what I mean. I mean casually because, like, intentionally, but it's like just there, and then it's just there because it is just a fact that happened. There's no debate, there's no question. These things happened, and as much as I know and understand that, anytime it's there, just black and white, is still like very impactful and jarring and just a lot. But we are at the point as well where the people have started to panic because the power's still not back on, and they're using like backup generators, but there's only so long those will go for. And so people are panic shopping, and that's really putting into mind the start of COVID for me. You know, just hearing the reports of panic shopping, and how, like, we at the time had to shop for 2 households. We had to shop for our household as well as for my in-laws at the time, and like at the time they were unable to, so my husband and I did both. And the way people acted and reacted in those shops, like, I remember distinctly there was a woman who very nearly fought me to get my pasta. You know? And it was just so surreal, and you're starting to see that happening here, and it's just like, so it's tense, it's stressful. You as the reader know it's probably just going to get worse for a while, and because there's a sequel as well, I'm like, does it get better? It's been so long since I've read a book that has a sequel. I don't really remember the last time. Well, there was a romance series I was rereading, but like, since I've, for first experience, read a book that isn't a standalone, it has been years. So, I don't even know if it's gonna be all good. And I mean, who knows if it ever will be all good, but I don't know if it's gonna resolve, I guess, in this first book, because there's a sequel. It's crazy though, because like, I am there, like, I was in that grocery store. Like, you can feel it, you can feel the panic of the community, it's palpable. The frightened feelings that they have. So, incredible writing. Incredible writing. Yeah, I'm going to read more. Alright, it is a few days later, and like I believe I previously said, just because it is a short book doesn't mean it is a quick read. I think I initially had the assumption it would be, but as I kind of saw the style of the story, I was like, maybe it might not be, which isn't a bad thing at all. The following day, I actually didn't pick up the book at all, and yesterday I read very little of it because I was very stressed with what was occurring in the book. Today, I sat down, I read it. It's been a beautiful day. It's been so rainy, and I love like rainy, gloomy kind of weather, which is ironic with the description gloomy, but I love it. I find it so cozy. So I was just sitting under cover today and reading it and hearing the pitter patter of the rain. It was amazing. So I have now finished Moon of the Crusted Snow by Waukesha Rice, and I have so many thoughts. My brain hasn't finished them all, I don't think, but I loved this book. I would recommend it to people who enjoyed Bad Cree and Station 11 as well. I would say because it felt similar, like suspense-wise, to Bad Cree, which is interesting because Bad Cree is a horror. This is not. This is dystopian. So I don't know why it gave me that same forgetting to breathe feeling. You know, they say that that comes naturally and you don't have to think about it. You get a well enough written book. Yes, you do. But it also had the elements of Station 11 in the way of the post, not this, in this case it's not post-pandemic like in Station 11, but it is very much so realizing, like, as a reader, you're like, wow, I take so much for granted. And it really puts that into perspective. So what this story is about is a small Anishinaabe community in BC. I know it's set in BC just simply because they mentioned being near Gibsons, and I grew up in Alberta, so I recognized the town name. It's a small community, and the power goes out. The power goes out, and it is what is going to unfold from there, how the community is going to pull together. Are they going to pull together? Is chaos going to break out? It's a discussion on the traumas that have been inflicted on the First Nations peoples and being displaced from their homelands. They've been through a lot before this power outage, but they've been connected up by the white man through the hydro grid, and so some have gotten used to the luxuries, essentially, as it were, and others are still very connected to the earth and go hunting and prepare for winter and get food stores built up and everything like that. So you immediately like see a notice difference with the members of the community who stick, you know, not that they don't enjoy the luxuries of being hooked up to everything that provided, but they still prepare. They haven't let go of their ways, which obviously they should not. But then you see the other members of the community who have and who completely rely on the food deliveries to the grocery store and everything. You learn that this power outage isn't just an overnight blip. Okay, it's the entire theme of the book, so I don't feel like that's a spoiler. But it is harrowing. It is emotional. There are some beautiful, beautiful moments. I was tabbing, like, when there was a beautiful moment, when there was a profound moment, when something was emotional, and I tabbed a good bit, like, right at the beginning, because that was when stuff starts to happen, but the community doesn't know yet how serious it's going to get. And then there's just a huge, like, majority of the rest of the book I put in like one more tab because the rest of it was just so tense. And it's different to the stress I felt while reading Greenwood by Michael Christie, because that book, you as the reader know what's going to happen to the characters before the characters do, with the way the timeline's set up. You don't know how it's going to come about, but you know it's going to happen. So you're stressed, waiting to find out, and for the characters to find out. Whereas in this, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but definitely hints are dropped. Instinctually, you can tell it's not going to be good, but you don't know how bad it's going to get. You don't know in what way it's going to get bad. You get an inkling, and then it's finding out if you're right or wrong. I thought, like, I was doubtful of how this book could be wrapped up, because it is like 218 pages. Nope, that's acknowledgements, sorry. 211 pages. And for it to have escalated so quickly, it was like, how can we resolve this in the amount of time? And there is a sequel, but I don't know if you need to read like this before you read the sequel. But I think from what I understand of the sequel, because it's set years into the future, after this crisis has occurred, so I do think my understanding of it is it would be beneficial to read this one first. Wabgeshig's writing is beautiful. It's so immersive. It's the first time in such a long time. Well, okay, it's the first time since January, which is, that's, as my standard goes, that's actually not such a long time, but that's still a few months. It's the first time I've been that immersed in a book. I'm not aware of my surroundings. Like, I'm gone to this world and I'm in this one. And I think that's also a very good reason why I was as impacted by their foreboding as I was, which is just a testament to Wabgeshig's writing. And I definitely recommend this book. I gave it 5 stars immediately, no pondering, no thinking. Like, this year I'm being much more of a stickler of my ratings and what that means to me, and I've been reflecting on it a lot more. But I was like, nah, this is not a book for to debate for me what the star is. It's 5 star. It's amazing. I would love to hear this book as an audiobook. It is available on Audible as an audiobook, but it wasn't available through my library. One of the main reasons that really intrigues me is throughout the book, it's fantastic. The characters are using their own language. I'm trying to remember the exact name for it, because it's Anishinaabe. Is it Anishinaabe-Moan? And I will correct myself if I am incorrect, because I don't want to be. But I would love to hear it in audiobook, to hear the correct pronunciations as we're going along. And I think, like, if I were to do this book in a reread, I would stop to Google what those words meant, but I wanted to be sucked in. I didn't want to step away. So yeah, I found it extremely impactful. Just like Station 11, it really made me think about everything that we have, that we take for granted in today's day and age. It made me reflect upon all the traumas and horrors inflicted on Indigenous peoples. It showed me hope. It showed me resilience. The respect there is for the elders and the teachings that come from them. It was just beautiful, and I loved this, the kind of the main family of characters. I adored them. They were just such a resilient, hopeful, supportive group of people. It's a mother and father and their 2 children. And the father's more or less the main character throughout, but it's never just about him. It's always about how he is helping the community. It's not a single-minded endeavor. It is a community, which I thought was just beautiful. And his partner, and the way that she holds so much love for him and for their children and the people in their lives, and they're just so supportive of each other, and it's so incredible to see. I don't remember a book that I've come across that has had a family that is healthy and communicative and supportive and loving and trusting and very literally the definition of partners, like very equal. Most books that have a family element focuses on a dysfunctional element, and I'm not saying that, you know, throughout branches there weren't problems with the family, but in their own home, it felt like such a safe space. And these people, I'm getting emotional, like they seemed so safe, you know, like either of these characters, I just felt like you could go to, you could reach out to, like the way that they were there to support the community and each other, was just an incredible, beautiful thing. So I loved it. I do have the sequel, Moon of the Turning Leaves. I don't think I'm gonna read it right away, actually, because I really want this to sit with me for a little while first, and I want to have this to come to when I need to be there again. So I actually think I'm not going to read the sequel straight away, because it is set, it seems like a good handful, a chunk of years in the future, and my mind's still very much so with what the character's present is, and I want to stay there for a while when I'm thinking about it. I want to give it its time in that way. So anyway, that is my little reading vlog, my review of Moon of the Crusted Snow by Wabgishig Rice. It was beautifully, beautifully written. I understand why it's been so talked about and on the bestseller lists. I completely get it. It should be. And if you know any books that are similar, in, for lack of a better word, vibes, similar in the way that it makes you feel, let me know, because I'd love to hear any of your recommendations. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one soon. Take care. Bye-bye.